Welcome back to my channel. I'm Tanya Ray, and today we're doing a pick a card reading for the new moon in Cancer on June 25th. That's when it's peaking, and if you're listening to this a little bit before or a little bit after, do not worry because the energies will still be potent. Also, if you are drawn to this reading at any other time that has nothing to do with this new moon, then please feel free to stick around because usually the messages are timeless, regardless of the fact that I'm reading on how to utilize these energies specifically with the new moon energy. And I always tell people, trust your intuition. And with the trusting your intuition, I will also say, trust it when it feels like something isn't for you, or even if it feels like it's for you, always trust that intuitive pull. However, if you feel a specific resistance to something in one of my readings or anyone else's readings, sometimes it's a good idea just to look at it a little bit deeper with love and compassion for yourself to make sure that it's not trying to show you something deeper within you that needs to be seen. With that said, like I said, do not make anything fit that does not feel aligned to you, and let's get started with the reading. But first, you've got to choose your pile. So, the first one has an angel aura quartz on it. The second one in the middle has a clear quartz on it. And the third one, it looks a little bit dark, but that is actually an amethyst on the third group. So now I'm going to be quiet so you can tune in. All right, if you haven't made your selection, please go ahead and pause this because we're going to get started on group number 1, and the timestamps will be below, so don't worry about that. Welcome back, group 1. This is your message for the new moon in Cancer, and as you can see, I've already flipped over the first card. I apologize for the bit of glare we've got going on here. I don't know how to fix that without not having any light on and it being dark. But as you can see, we've got the Six of Wands already flipped over. That's your first card. And okay, group 1, it's your time to shine. The first thing that comes to mind in this reading is the new moon is almost like a portal, or it is a portal for group 1s to step into that new version of yourself. I know that might sound too woo-woo, but I'm getting this image of you all stepping up into a more authentic version of yourself, and it's almost like a switch is flipped. So it's feeling almost instantaneous, which is why I'm saying that it feels like a portal, but in actuality, it's probably because of the work that you've been doing up to this point. So down to the business of this card is saying that you're about to be recognized for your efforts, your words, and your voice. You're about to be seen. If this is something that's a little bit scary for you, that's understandable, but it's time to be prepared for that recognition. Similar to what I saw for those of you who got the Six of Wands in, I believe it was the summer solstice reading, I'm seeing some of you blow up on social media or literally be on stage speaking to thousands, if not millions, of people. That was a really weird way of saying millions. My apologies. I know I said literally about the millions, but the image might just mean that you are far-reaching. You have a far-reaching audience and a lot of influence. So how are you going to use that, group 1s? For those of you who are not resonating with this message, the universal message is this: things are shifting in your favor, and you're about to experience success. So this is a really good sign that success is coming in very soon, if you're not already feeling it. All right. We have the Magician next. Yes. So looky here, we have the Master of Manifestation himself. Like I said, the Magician. In case the last card wasn't clear, not only are you about to be recognized by others, but this is about seeing yourself, seeing your magic. You have your own individual magic that is different from everyone else's, and you're about to see it if you're not already seeing it. Because the reason that the Magician is so good at manifesting things is because he has all of the tools he needs to create what he wants. He's resourceful, and so are you. And it helps that one of your resources is the magic that makes you undeniably you. So, over this new moon time, lean into that more and know that there are no dreams too big and or no manifestations that are impossible. I said that really weird. let me try to say that again. There are no dreams or manifestations that are too big or too impossible. But it does require belief and taking action on creating those things. So keep that in mind, that it can't really happen if you don't believe in it or take any action. Ooh, we've got the Queen of Cups popping up next. The Queen wants to remind you that you are probably really good at nurturing other people's manifestations and just lifting other people up in general. But make sure that you are meeting your own goals and desires with that same energy. You cannot pour from an empty cup, my love. I'm sure you've heard this before, but a lot of us need this reminder over and over again because it's so true. Get clear as to what it is that you're watering and know that when you nurture it and treat yourself with love and compassion, things tend to go your way. This new moon in Cancer, or is in Cancer, so emotions are likely to be heightened. So this is also a reminder that it is okay to feel them. In fact, it's kind of a must. I hate to tell you. Allowing yourself to process through emotions is one of the most self-care things that you can do. And anything you keep bottled up is likely going to keep you wondering when your dreams are going to come to fruition. In other words, sometimes the messages, sorry. In other words, sometimes the message and clarity is that in the lower vibrational emotions. Sometimes it's in the lower vibrational emotions or in the letting them go rather than bottling them up. So what I'm trying to say here is sometimes when we're holding on to those things, that's either blocking us from the clarity or there's something in feeling that opens that up to there's some kind of awareness in that. I hope that's making sense. I also consider the Queen of Cups someone who is resourceful and others go to for guidance because of this. So this is another nod to you already have everything you need to create what you want and a message that needs to be heard by others. So you probably have that message, is what I'm saying. Stop looking outside yourself and follow your heart and your inner knowing. And I don't know if you heard that little click of confirmation. I think it was right before I said Was it stop looking outside of yourself and follow your heart or your inner knowing? Stop looking outside of yourself is the main thing that's popping up here. All right, and then finally we have the 10 of Pentacles. Not only does it look like you're about to experience success, but the 10 is suggesting that it's long-term and fulfilling success. You're building wealth and security and a legacy for yourself. Hello. Again, let me remind you that now is not the time to play small. Your message is meant to be heard, and it might set you up for life. So really ask yourself, what is the purpose of creating the thing or speaking out the thing, sharing the thing that you really want to do? For a lot of us, and it might not be true for you, and that's okay, but for a lot of us, that is to build financial security as well as help people or help the people in our life. I apologize, by the way, if you heard my dog in the background. But looking at the why behind it and doing it anyway, right? Doing it scared, because is it not better to have received the thing that you truly want, the financial abundance, the home, the family life, the whatever, the safety and security, than to sit here and keep wondering if it's possible for you, as well as holding back potential stories and wisdom that could be helping others, or creations that you have in your head that could be helping others. All right, I am going to pull some affirmations, but before I do that, let's look at what some journal prompts could be for this new moon. Where have I been successful, and how can I allow myself to be seen? So, building a case for yourself of you've already been successful. So, how can you build upon that? And how can you allow yourself to be more seen? What emotional truth wants to guide my next manifestation? Using your emotions to your advantage. And what kind of legacy am I building? And what does it feel like? Again, emphasis on the emotions around it, because that is what drives us. The action step is to put yourself out there. Do it scared. If you're already doing it, keep it up. But I'm getting the sense that many of you have felt the call to share something specific and have been holding back. Now, this could be words and story and things like that, or it could be physical creations. Just do it anyway. Your ego will always find reasons why now is not the time, but this moon is particularly magical for manifesting for group ones specifically. So, do you want to manifest more of the same, or do you want to experience something new? And don't forget that whatever it is you've been sitting on creating or sharing, there are probably people waiting on it, like I've already said. You never know the impact you'll have until you at least try. And this one's actually interesting because it's not really anything that we talked about, but the affirmation is love your body. I love my body. Now, one thing that's popping up automatically is if you're somebody who has issues with being seen specifically because of appearance, remember that this is a vessel. This holds your soul. And we get to have these bodies, these vessels that do amazing things for us. So not only do it scared, but also give yourself love and compassion, whether it's actually your body being seen or just people hearing and recognizing your voice that's scary, do it anyway and give yourself more love. Oh, I don't remember ever seeing this card, but it's Aqua Luna, and I want to make it so it's visible to people. I am grateful and blessed. Having a little bit more gratitude is going to help bring things in. And finally, Seeds of Power. From tiny things, big things can grow. And I love that I put that right over the 10 of Pentacles. Yes, there is so much growth potential for group number 1. And it starts with the quote unquote simple act of putting yourself out there, trying. And it, like I said, if you're already doing it, continue, but be open to looking at it maybe from a different perspective or trying something a little bit different, a different angle, if that feels like it's coming in right now. I hope this reading blesses you, group number 1. Have an amazing new moon, and let me know how you're celebrating it or what your takeaways are from this reading. I'll see you soon, hopefully, and have an amazing day. Welcome back, group 2. This is your reading if you chose the clear quartz, the middle pile, and it's for the new moon in Cancer. Again, if you are tuning in any other time, trust your intuition on it because the messages are generally timeless, but this reading could be beneficial around the new moon specifically because you might be able to utilize the energies that are naturally coming in with that new moon. That said, let's get started. As you can see, I've already flipped the first card. It is the Six of Pentacles, and I do apologize for the glare. I'm not really sure how to fix it without just shutting the lights off and sitting in the dark. So, with that said, the Six of Pentacles is the card of giving and receiving and generosity in general. It says that if you're sharing your resources out of the kindness of your heart, then there is no need to worry about whether or not it will be reciprocated, because it always will. But sometimes we are actually over-giving or taking too much without realizing that that is going on. So I'm not saying necessarily that it's intentionally manipulative, but sometimes it's happening sort of behind the scenes. So this is your friendly reminder to look at where you might be spending your resources or where you are spending your resources, your time, your money, your energy, and what are your true thoughts about it when you dig deep down? Because sometimes we think it feels good to help and I want to help. And of course, you genuinely do want to help. That's not what the question is. But if there is an underlying thought of no one will help me, or I'm doing this in hopes of them doing XYZ for me later with some kind of expectation, then it's not necessarily balanced because yes, it's balanced to give and take, but there's a need to be clear on why am I giving? Is it with an expectation of an exchange, or am I giving, like I said, out of the kindness of my heart? Or another example is giving services away for free. So people that run businesses and that sort of thing that are service based, you might realize that what you have to offer can help someone else, but either they've told you they don't have the money, or you have the perception that they don't have the money, or you don't want to ask because of a worthiness issue within you. You could end up feeling resentful because of the fact that you've given up so much time and energy and there wasn't an equal exchange there. So just be mindful of all of those areas. My point is that this card is urging you to look at where you're spending your resources, and does that feel balanced for you? Now, this doesn't have to be an equal balance specifically, because remember what I said about this card is generosity is just giving out of the kindness of your heart, because I have enough, so I know that I can give to others and it's totally okay without the expectation of receiving in return. But eventually the scales are going to tip. So it doesn't have to be like equal eye for an eye, for lack of a better way of saying it. And also, this is a very good sign that where you've been generous, you're about to get paid back. And I am hearing tenfold. You're about to be paid back tenfold. As well as just make sure you're looking at if you are truly open to receiving. Because a lot of the time we think that we are, but we're actually blocking ourselves from receiving things like love, money, happiness, even gifts, and things like that, due to underlying belief systems that are usually related to worthiness and our worthiness. And just a friendly reminder that I probably say at least once in every video, your worthiness, your worth is inherent. You are born with it. It does not leave you. You do not have to earn it. Remind yourself of that as many times as you need to. All right, we have the Page of Cups next. It feels like opening up to receive is the message directly related to this card. So I just said that. And then we have the Page of Cups, because for the second group, the message is about being open to new possibilities and dreaming a little bit bigger. For those of you who are trying to manifest specifically love, believe that it's possible, but also get clear on what your vision is. Don't settle for something less than you desire in a partner and relationship. And that's true for any manifestation, really. It's time to get really clear and stop settling. For those of you whose dreams are anything but relationships, know that this is a sign that something with this new moon and being open to receiving is opening to clarity and bringing you to your heart-led path. It might not feel, or it might not be exactly what you've been envisioning, but what if it's actually better? So again, don't settle. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is also don't restrict yourself from it being even better than you imagined, because you've put a stop on the expectation. Like there's a wall up, if you will, of this is all that I'm worthy of. So this is what I'm striving for, when you could actually have something even better. I hope that distinction makes sense. All right. We've got the Lovers next. So we were just talking about the potential of this being a love reading, and this is another clear sign that some of you are probably trying to manifest love or a rebalancing in your current relationships. This card indicates alignment, and paired with the Dreamer or the Page and the Six of Pentacles, it really indicates that this relationship could be very harmonious and very balancing in the give or take. Or if you want to go there, a healthy balance of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. I know that's not for everyone, and before you come for me, that does not mean, it doesn't have anything to do with gender. We all have masculine and feminine energy, but when we're in a partnership, a lot of the time one person has more masculine energy and the other person has more feminine energy, and we balance ourselves out that way. But we do have both. And we do not need the other person to be balanced. I'm not saying that, so please don't come for me, like I said. This also can be a sign of a manifested partnership, a non-romantic one. For those of you who are looking into going into like maybe a business partnership with someone, or even some sort of, I'm losing my words, but collaborative thing, where this could actually be a sign that it's how many times am I going to say actually? It's mutually beneficial and that it will work out for you. Finally, this card is alluding to being aligned with you and your soul path, the one that feels aligned with purpose. And then finally, I'm getting this message that the card is alluding to being aligned with your soul path and the one that feels aligned with your purpose the most, and a partnership between yourself and your higher self, and or God, universe, source, goddess, whatever resonates with you and your belief systems. That connection is deepening, and there can be clarity coming through on how to seemingly effortlessly have that connection and communication. So some sort of meditation or whatever your connection practice is there, prayer even, I would recommend focusing on that around the new moon if that part of the message is resonating for you. And when this card pops up, remember that at its core, it asks, what does this situation, whatever it is, look like through the lens of love and compassion? Bringing more love and compassion into your life. All right. And then, speaking of love and compassion, we have the 10 of Cups. This is really interesting. Group 1 also started with a 6 and ended with a 10. In some ways, this feels symbolic of being at about the halfway point to where your destination, your desired destination is, and then making it to the end of that journey to the goal. Fortunately for both of you, these 10s are more like the happy endings, whereas I see the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords, they can kind of indicate that there might still be some work and healing to do at the end of the journey. So you guys are in luck because it was the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles. So anyway, tangent aside, the 10 of Cups is all about balance, harmony, and love. And I reiterate again how I would not be surprised if many of you in this group are trying to manifest love right now. Obviously, it doesn't need to be this literal, and that's why I'm talking about other things as well. But also, for those of you who are in a relationship and you're hoping to see shifts in this is a good sign that that is a possibility for you as well. For that group, keep in mind that looking at the 6 of Pentacles is probably a large key to restoring the balance, as well as looking back at the lovers and bringing it back to love and compassion. So where might somebody be a little bit resentful because they think they're putting more in than the other person in the relationship and things like that, as well as, is it more of not seeing eye to eye, and how can you look at it through the lens of love and compassion? For others, this message isn't about relationships with others at all. This is the relationship with yourself. This is a sign that your dreams are trying to manifest right now in this new moon time. And the more you build upon love and compassion in your relationship with yourself, the more that will come in. Success is knocking at your door. It's more about, will you answer it? And this message as a whole is about being vulnerable. Are you allowing yourself to be open? If not, what belief systems and events from the past are holding you back from experiencing love, harmony, and happiness? Because that is what's on the table for you. Group number 2. All right, let's talk about some potential prompts that you might want to utilize over this new moon time, as well as maybe an action step, and then I will pull some affirmations. So, where in my life do I feel like I'm giving too much or not enough? What part of me is asking to be expressed more vulnerably right now? What would emotional fulfillment look like if I stopped settling? So what would emotional fulfillment look like if I stopped settling? And what or who feels aligned with the life I want to create? I'll put these in the show notes as well, so you don't have to write them down while you're listening. All right, and your potential action step would be to celebrate your connections. This is a play on vulnerability. So choose maybe one relationship in your life, be it a friend, family member, romantic, or even your relationship with yourself, and share a genuine gratitude with them about an aspect of the relationship, and here's some ideas of that. Something that you admire about that person, something you appreciate that they've done for you or your family, or they've just done in general, or a time they've supplied you with inspiration or guidance. So, let's see. With that said, let's see what the little affirmation type cards are having to say for you. Ooh, you got the moon wishes for the moon. Moon wishes. The moon shows me patience. Oh, the moon shows me patience. We don't have to force things here. And I know that we are talking about new moon, which you don't see, but every single one of your cards in this reading has a moon in it. That is one of the themes of this deck, but I don't think there's a moon in every single card. I could be incorrect on that, though. But having a little bit more patience and also trusting that things are trying to work out for you, and they will work out for you in due time. Build a fairy house. There's magic everywhere. Do something that brings your magic out, group 2. Build a fairy house. I like that. And, oops, freeze it. I freeze what I no longer want. Oops, can't read that one. I freeze what I no longer want. Leave that in the past. We just went through the summer solstice, or we just had the summer solstice. We're in summer now. Leave that crap in the winter and leave it there. Don't pick it up again. So just looking at that, and there's a level of vulnerability in that, right? Because it's admitting when things aren't working or they're not in balance or something needs to be shifted. So with that said, I hope this reading is supplying blessings for you, group 2, and let me know what resonates in the comments, how you plan on celebrating the new moon, and what are your takeaways. I hope to see you soon, and have an amazing day. Welcome back, group 3. This is your reading for the new moon in Cancer on June 25th. Of course, you can be watching it at another time, and the message could still resonate if you're feeling drawn to it, as well as, like I mentioned before, if you're watching it on like the 26th, 27th, 28th, you're still in that potent new moon energy anyway. With that said, let's get started on the reading, shall we? I've already flipped over the first card, and I apologize for the glare. I don't really know how to fix it without shutting off the light and sitting in the dark, so we're going to go with it, but hopefully you can see that it's the 8 of Pentacles. Whatever you're focusing your attention on, whatever you're focusing your attention and intention on right now is what you're building a solid foundation in. The new moon asks you to look at where you are spending your time and energy and what you're learning. And is it bringing you closer to your goal or goals that you have in mind for yourself? If yes, know that this is the sign that you're closer than you think. But right now, if it feels like things aren't moving along, it's because you're still putting the pieces together. Pentacles are about the long haul, not the short term. So sometimes we don't need to see the fruits of our labor right away, or the shifts might feel really subtle. But remember, they build momentum over time. So, in other words, be diligent, keep going. But if your answer was no, this doesn't really feel aligned to your goals, then look at where you can adjust where you're spending your time and energy as well as money. In terms of the new moon specifically, this is a sign to focus on what you want to see and take action that is aligned to that, aligned with what you want to see. So first taking a clear look at what doesn't feel aligned to that. So we've got the Empress next, and just as I mentioned, action, she pops out. But don't get me wrong, it's not that the Empress takes no action. She takes quote unquote divine action. But she also believes in her manifestations and doesn't worry about if they are going to come in. She knows the more she nurtures her creations and goes with the flow, the more the abundance and success she receives. Again, look at what you are trying to create. Sometimes allowing the creativity to flow is exactly what is needed to gain clarity on next steps. So don't be afraid to take breaks and let your creative juices flow over the new moon. So even if you're doing a creative project that has nothing to do with what this card is talking about, that can still help you to get there by opening things up a little bit more. Empress is similar to the Eight of Pentacles in that they both indicate what you are cultivating right now will grow into something in the future, or it has a very good potential to do so. It might not happen immediately, but when it does, it has the potential of being very long lasting, very fulfilling. So, all good signs here. All right, and then we have the Four of Pentacles. And sorry, not sorry, group 3. Here's a little bit of tough love for some of you. Whenever you're grasping too tightly onto your manifestations or even your resources, because we're talking about the Four of Pentacles, that's what's halting them from coming in or growing. The Emperor said, hey, let's flow with it. But some of you might be clinging on to something a little too hard. This could look like being afraid to take action, or just trying to control how it's going to look beyond your ability to do so. Where can you open up to the possibility of greatness, of abundance? And where might you need to ease up on controlling the situation so that they can get there? So that you can get there, I should say. Alternately, this card is actually just more confirmation that you're in this for the long game. You might not be feeling like things are happening, but the more you keep the more that you keep going and believing in it, the more potential for security you have long term. Again, talking about the long game here. And let's look at what our last card is. And it's the King of Swords. The balance between the Empress and the King of Swords is allowing yourself to be led by your intuition and your logic. If clarity is what you seek in this time, tune within and then use the insights you receive to put clear plans into place. Remember that simply thinking about something rarely brings it into fruition, but thinking about it, creating rational systems and nurturing them or putting them into practice is what does. If you're someone who is seeking clarity on something in your life right now, this reading is advising you to go within and also open to the possibilities a little bit more. So stop being so rigid for some of you. Take actions from a sound mind, but also don't forget that a little bit of love and compassion for the journey can go a long way. I'm also getting a clear message for some of you in this group that this message is actually about being a teacher or a mentor. This is your confirmation that that is something that is in your future, but you might not be there yet. And it might not be in the literal sense of the word of teacher or mentor, the way that a lot of us think, but that something about what you're learning right now, and it has the potential to have a big impact on others when you share the learnings from it. So kind of like something about your story has the ability to have an impact on a bigger audience. And I'm feeling a real teacher mentor vibe, not so much just an influencer, which popped up in a different reading, but being that really sound mind that people go to for guidance. All right, let's talk about the journal prompts that you might want to utilize over the new moon, as well as maybe an action step. What am I building right now, and does it reflect what I truly value? Where am I withholding out of fear, and where do I need to open up? How can I create more ease and beauty in my day-to-day work? What decisions have I been avoiding, and what would clarity look like? And the action step is to audit your energy and resources. Choose maybe one area, be it money, emotional labor, time, or mental labor, however you want to look at that, and ask, is this being spent in alignment with what I want to build? Then make one small intentional change, whether that's loosening a grip, setting a boundary, or committing more deeply. But of course, the first step is to get clear on what you're trying to build if you aren't quite sure yet. And I'm going to pull some, I guess, affirmation cards, and then I'll send you on your merry little way. Instead of grabbing the affirmation deck, I actually cleared the cards. So that's okay, because all you really need to see at this point are the affirmation cards anyway. Ooh, ow! My voice is heard in the world. So that feels really like confirmation about what I was just talking about when it comes to teacher mentor vibes that I'm getting. That some of you, at least in this group, really have that energy about you. But even if that's not resonating for you, that's okay, because this is a reminder that you should and are safe to speak your truth. And sure, not everyone is going to like it and agree, but they don't need to. It's far more damaging to you to hold back when it's your most authentic voice than it is to worry about what other people are going to think about it. Because not everyone, you're not for everyone. And that's 100% okay. It's actually freeing, because imagine trying to please everyone. Create a spiral. I am flowing with the season. Ooh, and I love that it has the word season in it. So even though this particular reading for group 3 was pretty action orientated, this new moon is the first, new moon or full moon in the summer season. We just had the summer solstice. And it's about creating that flow energy that the Empress is talking about, right? And not trying to force things so much. All right, let's see. But also still remember there is a system to it, just like the spiral. There's a system, there's a method to the madness. Aww. And happy magic for pets. Animals are my friends. I am kind and loving to them. So that's kind of a kitty little one, I would say, but it's really cute. And just remembering to take time out if you have pets and love on them, as well as being out in nature and enjoying what that has to offer. But pets can be really inspiring as well. They can be the reason for some of us why we do the things that we do in some ways, because of the inspiration that they bring or the dependency on us that they bring and things like that. And there's just really a lot of wisdom in observing animals, whether they're pets or in the wild. So if you're resonating with that, definitely look into that. I hope this message blesses you. Group number 3, let me know in the comments what your takeaways are and how you plan on celebrating the new moon. And I will see you soon.